I'm sitting, well, it's not a full moon anymore, but I'm sitting under the moon right now, and it is absolutely spectacular. The moon beams are slapping on my skin. Some say that the moon makes its own light. Flat Earth, I don't know. Anywho, that's a different story. You guys need to be on scripting. I was just basking in the ambience, and the one thing I noticed that really changed the game for me these past couple of months is scripting. If you guys don't know what scripting is, we can make a proper video on it. Now is not the proper scripting video time, but I can give you a quick breakdown because we read a lot on this channel. A lot of you guys are readers, a lot of you guys are writers, a lot of you guys understand the subliminal, the subconscious aspect of reading, the meditative aspect of reading, the meditative aspect of writing, all those things that go beyond the surface layers when it comes to, and here's what I'm getting at. Can we call it manifesting with scripting? Anywho, what scripting is you're sort of spell casting, but you're writing it out. Now here's the thing, and this is big with dreams too. A lot of people, anywho, I'm getting ahead of myself. Write it out with your hand and read it every day. Scripting is the act of manifesting something or attaining something or setting the movement of the universe in your direction using written words and then repeating those words to yourself as often as possible. And the same thing we always talk about in terms of alchemy is programming the subconscious mind. And when you program the subconscious mind, you change your resonant frequency. You know what I mean? Meaning your baseline ambient resonant frequency. The depth of who you are as it emanates into the world 24/7. When you script, you script it as it is, as it existed. And I would even go a step further. The step further that I'm suggesting is writing a letter to yourself. We can make a separate video on the nuts and bolts. I'm going to keep this one relatively short. We're already at 2.5 minutes. Writing a letter to yourself, it almost tricks you. It does two things. It puts your psyche in the future while in the now. And when you read it back to yourself, you're having a conversation with yourself that acts like what's a good example? Like feedback. You guys are musicians out there, or even if you're not musicians, you ever been at a music show when you hear the feedback, that really loud, piercing sound? What's happening is sound is going into the microphone. Usually, sound goes into the microphone plays that sound, and that sound comes out to the speaker. Well, the sound that goes out to the speaker and then hits the microphone again, and then the microphone plays that sound again, and that's why it's called feedback, because it's a loop. Microphone plays the sound, speaker plays the sound directly into the microphone, and the sound gets louder and louder and louder, and it happens in like a fraction of a second, and that feedback creates that really high-pitched, painful sound. That's feedback. When you write a letter to yourself in the future, and you read it to yourself, you're creating a feedback loop that grows just like the microphone over. It gets louder and louder and louder and louder, more present, more known, more present, more known, until it becomes manifest. It sounds something like, mine sounded something like this. Hey Keith, I'm so glad you decided to stick to your goals. And then I acknowledge the ups and downs. It's been an up and down, it's been a struggle. How could it not be? Welcome to planet Earth, baby, but you stuck it out. Look at you, the house is beautiful. The family is so excited. The stresses are there, but now they're there you meet stresses with confidence. You meet stress with ease and grace. You have the abundance, and you have the finances taken care of. The health is taken care of. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The world is beautiful. Feel this. Congrats on the 100,000 subscribers. The plaque is so heavy. I can feel the smoothness of the metallic texture under my skin. It's beautiful. Life is amazing. And I'm reading this every morning, and I'm reading this every night. Thank you, Keith, for the constant video ideas that keep popping up. What I'm doing is I'm creating a vortex, if you will. I'm creating my own vortex of energy that keeps my awareness in a certain field, and that field is the feedback system that I want, is the feedback loop that I want, so that my ideas, and therefore my actions, and also the other way, my actions and therefore my ideas keep reverberating in the vortex that I've created. For example, here, and I know that sounds super. What the fuck are you talking about? Meaning, for example, now when I go for a walk or I have a conversation or arbitrary things happen in my world, if they're relevant to the vortex that I've created, they are so much more apparent. They are so, just from scripting, just from writing out the goals and writing out the dreams from the future, writing it back to myself as a success. Because of that, I've now reprogrammed my subconscious to see things. And again, this is, when I say manifestation, this isn't your average law of attraction. It's not your average law of manifestation, right? Because it's not always like attracts like. If that were the case, two positive ends of a magnet would attract each other, but they don't. They actively repel each other. It's just like attracting. Not always, sometimes. It's not attracting or repelling. It's stimulating, and it's being in a frequential alignment with what you want, or at least in the energy field of what you want, so that when you cross paths with it, you're sparked like, oh wait, my spidey sense is tingling. You're like Spider-Man all of a sudden. Whenever there's something, or there's a disturbance in the force, your spidey sense tingles. And this is how you get your synchronicities. Not that, oh, all of a sudden I'm having all these synchronicities. It's magic. You are always having synchronicities. Always. You are always having serendipitous events. You just aren't aware of them happening. Whether it's too many distractions, or whether you haven't made it a point to put yourself in that, to put your own resonant frequency in the frequency of the thing that you want. Scripting covers all the bases. It sets your intention, it defines your goal, it lets the universe know this is what I want, and therefore sets up the mirror law. The Bashar talks about this. What you're doing is you're setting your because there's a whole bunch of things that happen when you want something to happen. You match the energy field of it, and then you start getting shown the opposite of what you want as a test. I want a lot of money. Then you're going to get tested with bills. You're going to get tested with things that pop up that do not equate to I'm getting a lot of money. And it's a test. It's almost, are you sure? Because you have to be worthy of it. I'll keep this part short. You have to be worthy of it in a sense that you don't. If you say you're addicted to smoking, so you've been smoking cigarettes your whole life, and you get trapped on a deserted island, and then you come back 5 years later, you're rescued, and people say, "Oh my God, you quit smoking! How wonderful!" And you go, "Well, there was not. I didn't earn it. There was just I was on an island for 5 years, and there was no cigarettes there. You know what I mean? There's no build up to it. You are not created. You are not created and molded to handle the thing that you want over time. Because what happens is if you get the thing without training for it, you're gonna lose it, right? If someone gives you the championship boxing title and you're like a computer programmer, great, you have a belt, but it means nothing, because the next time you fight the contender, the dude's gonna punch your face in because you don't know nothing about boxing. So you don't, it means nothing to just be given the title. You have to earn it, so that when you're there, you can keep it, you can sustain it, and not even that, but you can take it to the next level. And that's only one aspect of manifesting the thing that you want, or obtaining the things that you want in a sort of esoteric sense. Again, scripting, that's just one aspect of scripting. That happens. And then you have the subliminal aspect happening, where you're actually changing your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is like a lighthouse. It's always on. It's always shining out in every direction. It's just like, look at me. Just look at me. I'm just, oh. I always imagine the subconscious mind as the lighthouse. And the conscious mind is the thing that sort of says, oh, we're going to put the light over there. We're going to put the light over there. All it's doing is guiding the energy. But the light that we choose to shine into the world, you want it to be a bright light, a dim light, a white light, a red light, a glow-in-the-dark light, a black light, infrared light. Whatever light you decide to shine out into the world has to be programmed. That is the subconscious. So we need to change the conscious programming. In other words, change the light from our lighthouse, and then we use the conscious mind to put it on the thing that we want manifest, so that it becomes actualized, it becomes realized. Because remember, because where attention goes, where intention goes, that's where manifestation is going to come. But all these things are, but you don't need to know any of the intellectual, philosophical side of things, because when you do something like scripting, just writing out what you want, but writing it as a letter to yourself, you cover all the bases, not even knowing it. You could have a 9-year-old child who knows nothing except Dragon Ball Z and be like, hey kid, I want you, like, what do you want? Oh, I want my own castle. Dope, me too. How about this, child? I want you to write a letter to yourself. Pretend you're 30 years old. Pretend you're however old you want to be sometime in the future, and write yourself a letter thanking yourself for the castle. I want you to describe the castle in detail. I want you to feel how the stone feels under your skin. Describe how it feels. Describe the temperature. Describe the color. Describe everything you can. Have fun. Be creative. The sky is the limit. Write it to yourself. Thank yourself, and sign it, and then read it every morning. He doesn't have to know anything. He doesn't have to read the Emerald Tablets. He doesn't have to read the Colburn Bible. He doesn't have to read the Corpus Hermeticum. He doesn't have to read the Egyptian Book of the Dead. None of that. He doesn't have to watch Ralph Smart or Man of Letters. He doesn't have to watch any of that stuff. All he has to do, or she, just script it out and write it and read it when you go to bed, read it when you wake up in the morning. And I guarantee you, all the things that I've described will happen to that child. The beliefs, the reinforcements, the prevailing thoughts and the prevailing feelings, the prevailing actions, and that child is going to change. It's going to warp into the person that is the type of person that's going to have a castle by the age of whatever. You know what I mean? That's the cool thing about, or maybe not the cool thing, but that is just the thing about the mechanisms of the universe, is that it doesn't matter whether you believe them or not. They operate regardless. We can either be a chess piece, or we can be the person, we can be the chess player. The rules of chess does not change, only our role in it. Most people are stuck as the pawn. Woe is me, I'm just a pawn. It's a dog-eat-dog world, it sucks. And that becomes their reality, because that they embody that frequency, and therefore their thoughts and actions resonate being a pawn. And circumstances, when their spidey sense goes off, it's, oh, my spidey sense is going off, I'm being a pawn again. Or my spidey sense is going off, oh my God, I'm in a pawn situation. Or you can be up the scale. You can think of yourself as a king or a queen. And when you're dialed into that resonant frequency, now your actions, now the serendipitous events, now the synchronicities that come your way are, oh my God, my spidey sense is going off. There's a situation where my kingliness is being called out, or my kingliness is being threatened, or my kingliness is having a chance to expand and grow. Right, which is awesome. It's way further up on the caste system than the pawn. Or you can be super gangster about it, and you can be the chess player. I'm not the king. I'm not the knight, the rook, the bishop, the pawn. I'm the queen. I'm none of those things. And castle. In fact, I'm the player moving all those pieces. Sometimes I want to be the pawn because I'm lazy and I just want to be told what to do all the time and just enjoy life, which is beautiful, especially when you're doing it consciously. Or I want to be the bishop, or I want to play the role of the knight, or I don't want to be any of them, right? That's where you start. I guess that's where reading the ancient texts and studying and Corpus Hermeticum and all the religions of the world in one way or another describe this. If you're really reading between the lines, you can start to have fun with it a little more, but it doesn't take all that. It's as easy as scripting something out. Write what you want. Write yourself a letter. Oh, pour your soul into that letter. Burn the edges to make it really cool. Wipe some frankincense oil on it so that every time you read it and you take it out, you get hit with that smell. Remember, all of this, everything you do when it comes to scripting or anything, like any sort of manifestation, any sort of ritual that you have for yourself with the goal of raising your frequency, it's all about involving as many senses as you can, as often as possible. And I mean that in a literal sense. This is what ritual is. You ever been I grew up in a Catholic church, and that shit is amazing, dude. It's so dope. The ritual aspect of it, it gets kind of dark like all religions do. But I'd go to church and they'd be burning the frankincense and the whatever, I can't remember the names of everything, but they'd be burning the frankincense as they walk down the aisles, fanning the smoke on you. You drink the wine, you eat the bread, you have your smell, you have taste. They're ringing the church bell and ringing the chimes during mass. Now you have sound. The visuals of the my church was beautiful. It was all red brick. It was probably 5 stories tall. They had the Gothic architecture and the beautiful sculptures and stained glass windows and the statues. It was beautiful. My vision, when you stepped into the church, you are a part of that resonant frequency. All it takes is for me to smell whatever smell. It wasn't just frankincense in the church. It was something more sour. I didn't even really like it that much. I feel like they could have done better. Anywho, I smell that and immediately my soul is in church. I hear the songs. We're singing too. So we're singing the songs. We're all singing the same song at the same time. We're chanting, in other words. The church has got it on lock. All churches do. You involve all the senses. You create song, you create harmony, you bring a bunch of people together to do it at the same time, which is an amplification of the energy, and you have yourself a full-blown ritual. What you want is to create yourself little mini rituals, and scripting should be a ritual. And the more you involve yourself, the deeper you get that sense of smell by putting oils on your script. The deeper you involve your sight, burn the edges of your paper so you have this aesthetic feel to it. All of it. Play a song whenever you read it, or it's like the sky's the limit, man. The Anubis is letting us know that we've run our time. Sorry that the quality is not very good. This is very spur of the moment. Love you guys. I'm trying to think of a good call to action. Have you guys scripted? Can you start your script in the comments? That would be a great call to action. Can you start your script in the comments? It doesn't have to be the full script, but or at least tell me. I want to know like how you want to involve your senses, how you want to involve your soul in the process of this. How do you want to pull? Because you're gonna have to pull. You're gonna have to pull your essence, or I shouldn't say pull it out. You're gonna have to copy your essence, extract your essence, multiply your essence, like a clone, like a cutting, and you're gonna put that essence on that paper, and it's gonna be you, and it's gonna be living through this paper. This paper is not gonna be a piece of paper anymore. It's gonna be an extension of your soul. How does that look like to you? Mine looks like burnt, like what I described. Burn the edges for the aesthetic, put some essential oils on it, so I'm smelling it every time, playing music in the background so I'm hearing the same song. That way, because the idea is you want to take it out of that moment. You want to take it out of just that. You want that script to be, again, you want it to be your resonant frequency. So, you know what I mean? That's what meditation's for, that's what chanting's for, that's what ritual's for. It's not... It is for the moment that you're doing it, but what you're doing with the ritual is you're changing your frequency. And the deeper you can plant that seed, the further out into the world it reaches. How does that feel? How is that going to feel for you? That's what I want to hear in the comments. How is that going to feel for you when you hear that? And let me know. Let me know. I'm excited to read the comments. I read every comment, you guys. Sorry if I don't respond to all of them, but I read every comment. I love them. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon. We'll jump on our lives probably tomorrow. Tonight I wanted to keep this one short. I just wanted some fresh air. We're looking at the moon. Luna is out there doing Luna things. Oh, look at that. That's pretty epic. And I think the moon was giving me downloads and was like, hey, Keith, I would like you to share something on my behalf. And I said, Luna, absolutely, boo-boo. Absolutely.